All right, here we go. Guys, we have some very nice ranked replays for us in store today. It's Wizz versus Firstkiller. Wizz recently grinding to be #1 global. He lost it in about the past week or so, but he has been absolutely on the ones grind, and there's no better player for him to go up against to prove his worth than Firstkiller. Firstkiller, the one NA GOAT. The one's NA GOAT. I would say it. I don't think it's even debate. A lot of the people on Reddit and stuff like to talk about Firstkiller not currently being the best ones player because maybe he didn't play in the smug. I think that's the only reason why. Like, if he didn't play in the smug, and because if he didn't drop out of the gold mine, you know, the other argument is that maybe the gold mine as well. You know, then there'd be no question that he's the GOAT. A lot of people are saying that he hasn't played enough recently to be considered the GOAT. I don't know. To me, he has one more chance. If he misses out and doesn't play like another one of the top tournaments, then we can start claiming somebody else as the, you know, best ones player in NA. But for now, I think it's, holy cow, nice shot from Wizz though. A great flip reset. Right now, I think it's Firstkiller. Firstkiller is still the one's best in North America until proven otherwise. And Wizz is one of those guys who wants to prove otherwise. He's been playing great in ones ranked in the past month or so. And we've got 3 games today, 3 games of Wizz versus Firstkiller. Firstkiller, of course, in the orange, Wizz in the blue, playing in the Dominus. We actually see Wizz jump around between cars a lot. But he has played his best games in the Dominus. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him sticking with that more and more often. Does smug even count? Yeah, I don't know. Smug is interesting because there was no single event. You know, there wasn't a final tournament or anything like that. And so I'm not sure if it does count. I think he should have played. I thought he should have played the very last event, like kind of like the hype final smug. But, you know, whatever. I'm sure they tried to get him to do it and he didn't want to, which is totally fine. How does he have it like this, where a name doesn't pop up when someone scores? Oh, this is a replay. This is a replay, Taha. We are not watching live show match, so when you watch a replay, this is exactly how it goes. I don't think you see names pop up. Firstkiller getting his own first goal. I think we have that in the stream title. I don't think we're trying to debate people. I think it's right there. Holy cow, nice play from Firstkiller. Tapping that ball off the far corner. These guys starting to strike here a little bit. There's a button that you can press to make it go away. Wizz off to an early lead here in ranked. I imagine these guys trade a lot. Firstkiller hasn't pushed himself to #1 global or even #1 in North America in a while, so I imagine he must have a tough time against some of these other guys who are up there. Wizz, though, did he just miss? No, the ball rolling every time it touches the ground, which, by the way, chat, I've gotten roasted on YouTube before. Or I think it was YouTube. I got roasted somewhere. Maybe it was Reddit. I think I got roasted on Reddit for suggesting that the ball curves in the air. I never did that. But the ball does get affected by its spin when it touches the ground. And lots of touching the ground on that shot for Wizz. Race, thoughts on Daniel being the best 1v1 player? I think you just got to prove it, man. I think that Daniel is absolutely capable of beating anybody that I've ever seen. And I think that he has to, you know, get a chance to prove that. He hasn't been able to play on any of the, like, recent humongous tournaments because recently Johnny Boy has been sponsored by Psyonix, and then when Johnny gets sponsored by Psyonix, no longer can any youngsters play. Nice, you know, shot there by Firstkiller. Bounced to himself off the ground, but Wizz just kind of missing. A little bit of an unforced error, but yeah, I think we'll see Daniel coming into these 1v1 tournaments as soon as he's of age. You know, he's shown that the most recent tournament we had in the next gen, he was able to win that pretty handily, I would say. And there's a lot of top players in that one, including Wizz. Wizz didn't even make it to the finals. You know, losing to Young Evo in that semis. Another thing about Wizz is that he is a West Coast player, which I don't know if it's brought up very often, but I'm sure that Firstkiller is queuing East. I imagine Wizz has to frequently queue East, and these are on East. Wizz can get some seriously bad ping on East. He never complains about it. To his credit, Wizz does not bring it up. Nice air dribble 50, man. These guys are really going at it. Damn Pie will be 15 soon. I don't know how soon you think December is, but I wouldn't exactly say December is soon. Should be, you know, 9 or so months before Dan gets to start playing in the 15-year-old required tournaments. Man, what a shot from Firstkiller. I'm surprised he was even able to squeeze that one in. Wizz, his air dribble cut off right away. At this highest level, you cannot let any one of these guys take open dribbles. You know, not like when you're playing in my Champ 3 1v1 games where I happily encourage players to try and dribble all the way from their own half, as that's a guaranteed goal for me. But Firstkiller, his over-aggression gonna cost him. Wizz up 6-4. O'Khaled never complains, and he's dope. Yeah, that's exactly right. O'Khaled never complains. I think players that are used to playing on higher ping don't complain, like a West player or, you know, a Middle East player playing on EU. I think they get so used to it that it's not a big deal. It's the guys who are able to get away with always playing on their 15 ping servers. You know, they live in the Psionic server room on, you know, NA East, and they ever have to play off of it, and they're like, what the heck, man? I'm so used to my perfect ping all the time. Firstkiller has been very opportunistic right now outside Wizz's net. He's gotten a lot of like double, triple touches around Wizz as Wizz kind of flounders in the back half. Wizz needs to be a little bit more calm and collected, handle these defensive plays, but the clock is winding down. Wizz gonna have one last goal line attempt, or goal line save attempt. Ooh, big whiff by the flick from Firstkiller, and that'll be it for game number 1. Wizz will take it in the first of 3. Let's hop into game number 2, Wizz versus Firstkiller. This time, Wizz back in the Octane after playing so well in the Dominus the past few times we've seen him. Gonna play Firstkiller in the Octane. I haven't seen Firstkiller in anything but the Octane since I don't know when. But to be fair, he hasn't exactly played in a lot of 1s tournaments recently. Maybe he switches it up in 3s. But he'll start off this game number 2. Not really game number 2. These are just ranked games with a nice flick from midfield. Daniel to G2. I think Daniel will not have a hard time finding a team to take a chance on him. I think there's a lot of youngsters who, you know, have been able to find teams somewhat easily. I think Sosa is kind of like an equivalent player from North America that I feel like recently came of age, and you know, teams were clamoring to get Sosa. I think it'll be kind of like that as well. But Sosa also isn't exactly like immediately on a top tier team contending with the best of the best. And I think it might be a similar situation with Daniel as well. I don't think he'll have a hard time finding a team, but I also don't think he's going to immediately, you know, hop on Rogue or NRG or any of those top ones. Daniel isn't deciding to go anywhere until September. Yeah, I think it's a long time. I mean, people aren't worried about it right now. I think there's a lot of Rocket League to be played before Daniel's even eligible. But as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, come time, I'm sure he'll be somewhere in the RLCS scene. Do you think these insane players who play on high ping to play in more competitive regions would be higher rated? Yeah. Like I was kind of saying before, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think players get used to it a lot and make adjustments for it. Nice save by Wizz. Wizz is playing way too much goal line defense, and Firstkiller is going to be able to break him down. He was able to break him down in the last game, just not enough. Ooh, good shot, good counter. But these goal line defenses have not been going that way every time. And every time Firstkiller gets it like anywhere near midfield, Wizz is backing off, trying to make goal line saves, and not being the aggressor. This time just a humongous whiff at midfield, nothing else to it. Holy shit, is this live? No, it's not. It is a ranked replay. This is 3 ranked games from Wizz and Firstkiller. Chat off the booth right now. No one knows what they're talking about besides Gino. All pros know how good Daniel is. There's a good chance a good org picks him up. Yeah, I think there's definitely a chance. Guys, the real thing we want to talk about right now is not Daniel. We want to talk about, is there a world in which we can get Drees to stay on G2? That's what we want to see. We want to see Drees become a mainstay of G2. I'm just excited to see how the grid goes for Drees. This one's game, tied up. Wizz dropping that ball, low boost, trying to turn it into a 50 in that situation. Firstkiller's taking everything on this side of the map. So Wizz all the way back. The early pre-jump, he's actually convinced Firstkiller to launch this ball away from him, but he's used up every last bit of boost, but took a little bit too long. Wizz able to reset. But once again, that's what I'm talking about. With lots and lots of space for Firstkiller all the way on his half, a great bounce. What does Wizz do? He stands in net and pre-jumps the save. And to be fair, when we first saw Wizz come on stream, he was a really, really good defender, and that was actually probably the most notable thing about him, was how he was just keeping everything out of his net. So not too surprising that against a top player, he likes to revert to that solid goalkeeping that he's been known for. But I imagine it's a hard strategy to keep up against opposition who's on fire. Nice shot from Wizz, and an incredible save from Firstkiller. Almost able to expose First for that early challenge, but just barely not enough. Mile, what's going on, man? It's been a long time. Wizz, soft touch, great flip reset. Oh my goodness, what placement from Wizz. This is when we feel bad about watching ranked. That was one that we'd love to go back and watch again, because that was so much movement on that flip reset. Like, that was absolutely amazing placement, and that's what it's all about. When you're trying to get it past the defender in waiting, it's, you know, not necessarily about power. It's about changing that trajectory as much as you possibly can. And that was, honestly, it doesn't get better than that in terms of slotting it top corner behind Firstkiller. Is this a replay? Yes, it is. These are ranked replays of Wizz versus Firstkiller. Wizz trying to go for the full field dribble. Nice play. Carrying it all the way and transitioning into in front of the ball, right in front of the net, in order to fend off the defender. The only way that those long air dribbles are finding it in this current meta. Too good at defenders. But Firstkiller, my goodness, a great flip reset, but was probably going to need two to get it past Wizz. First was tilted playing Wizz. You were in comms with him. This is the inside info you don't always get, guys. $14 seconds left to go. Wizz up 2, likely running into another win here against First. Firstkiller, even if he scores now, he's going to need a miracle on the kickoff. So the second ranked game going in favor of Wizz. All right, chat, third game. Oh, Mile, I'll absolutely give you a Steam sign. No worries, my man. Third game between Firstkiller and Wizz. Ooh, Firstkiller going to start off hot. The flip reset, not exactly perfectly executed, but, you know, did the job, as he had the ball land on top of him to redirect it. Wizz still in the octane. This flick, nice bump. I wonder if Wizz was really trying to get that bump, because that was a great side flip, and if he could consistently go for a flick like that, he could probably find a lot of success with it. But I think it's a hard setup, and definitely something I don't see players going for intentionally a lot. But it's going to work out definitely in his favor, and he's going to bully Firstkiller off the midfield boost and get a second as well. You feel like this channel should be bigger with all the top level gameplay compared to Johnny Boy giving the same gameplay with 10K more views? It's no worries, man. We're out here grinding. Firstkiller, a great fake to get the second goal. We're just doing our thing, man. By the way, Mysterio and Gaming Kobe, thank you guys for the follow. All we can do is just keep putting out content and hope people enjoy it. Wizz, opportunity for a big air dribble. He took a huge detour out to that corner boost, grabbed 100 more and wasted like 50 just to get back to the ball. I'm not sure that that's the play. He went so far out of his way to reset on boost and then wasted every last bit of it to get back to the ball. And when you're challenging the ball from the corner, like you want to be under the ball and moving slow in order to get that soft touch into an air dribble or some kind of flip reset. But instead, Wizz flying into it from the side, using up all his boost to get that much speed. It's actually harder to make a play, I would argue, with that speed, as well as just leaving him with less boost in general. So Not the best of plays, but a demo and an outplay for a third to tie it back up. Reformed Fear? What are you talking about? Because I don't play anymore, I'm reformed? Wizz, once again, shadowing outside his net. Gonna give Firstkiller all the space in the world, and this was quite the interesting play by First. What kind of flick do we call that? The wobble. It's because Feer doesn't have a Scottish accent. Yeah, that's true, you're not wrong. Everybody loves hearing that Scottish accent. That was a crazy flip reset setup. I don't think he got it, so maybe that's why we don't see it very often. But that was gonna be absolutely nutty if he like took that spin into a flip reset. Firstkiller on the goal line, very little boost. Trying to clear this one away. Notice he's trying to stay on top of the ball because he knows how dangerous of a position that is. And he actually got Wizz to hesitate. I'm sure if Firstkiller doesn't come up for that ball, Wizz converts that, you know, roll up the sidewall instantly into a dribble that would punish Firstkiller. But because Firstkiller went up in the air, he had to hesitate for a moment. And so actually a defensive maneuver just by, you know, faux pressure. Something that might be hard to notice. Nice long flick. Firstkiller not going to get the save. Wizz going to go up 4-3. We have word that Firstkiller was tilted during this series against Wizz. So maybe that factoring into it a little bit. Oh, Firstkiller trying to boom it past Wizz. That was absolutely a huge risk trying to power that ball past Wizz. He just tried to ground shoot it past, which, you know, it's possible to get the power to do that, but so risky if it doesn't work because you're just leaving a ground rolling ball to the opposition, and he didn't get anywhere near the kind of power required for that to work for him. So Wizz gonna take one for free. Nice tap from Firstkiller, and Wizz just kind of watching. Didn't seem like he needed to stay on the ground frozen like he did. Worth going up and trying to make a save. Instead, he lets Firstkiller get an easy double. Two minutes left to go. First, flip reset. A little bit too late. Got to make that play outside the net. Can't do it on the goal line. By that point, the defender's already made the save. And Wizz has been playing defense on the goal line, so we know to expect that from him. How does Wizz get smacked by Daniel but is beating Firstkiller? I think any one of these guys can get smacked by each other on the right day, especially in ranked. I think ranked is a different situation. I don't think this is how a series between Firstkiller and Wizz goes if they play on a you know, on an official tournament. I think Firstkiller comes more ready, maybe gets less tilted. So I think ranked is a little bit of a different beast, but at the same time, you know, to credit Wizz, not anybody can beat Firstkiller in ranked, regardless of how he's playing, whether he's playing confident, playing tilted. So there's still 99.999, you know, there's still only 5 people who can beat him in ranked, period, depending on how well he's playing. So still lots of credit to Wizz. Firstkiller, a really risky challenge, doesn't want Wizz to get that dribble. And a good read from Wizz for an open 7th. Here from YouTube Cube of the Hardware. Thank you, Prototype 6. I appreciate it, man. I am working hard, guys. Big announcement coming soon. Hopefully you guys will like the idea coming up here very soon. Always trying to give us new content ideas, and I think this next one is going to be fun, so hopefully you guys will like it. Firstkiller been very aggressive, especially down 2. Does not want to get off the ball, regardless of the fact that he's at an extreme boost advantage and a nice tap above. But great recoveries from Wizz. Firstkiller has made a lot of great outplays, but this is the story of the game. Yep, it's going to be a forfeit. A little bit of over-aggression from Firstkiller is a risk you're going to take. Wizz will shoot it over him for his 8th. Firstkiller would instead rather hop out of the match, so GG's.